You didn't make you, God made you. Maybe He made you to live a story, not just watch other people live stories from deep in the cheap seats. There are 4 types of roles each of us plays daily. 2 are good and 2 are bad. Victims have no plan for their life. They wait for their rescuer. Villains have a plan for destruction. Heroes have a mutually beneficial plan for the world. Guides lived a meaningful life and now turn around to help heroes find and live meaningful stories too. This is the main idea of the book Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. Mary, an elementary school student, was a professional surfer and won multiple international competitions. But one day changed everything. At one of the surfing contests, she experienced a terrible shark attack. A shark bit one of her arms. The next day she opened her eyes in the hospital at 8 years old without her left arm. She needed to make a lifelong decision and had 2 options. Quit sport, blame life and destiny and suffer without her favorite sport for the rest of her life, or start being fearless and follow her passion any way she could. She chose the latter one. This is actually not a fictional story, but a real-life experience of Bethany Hamilton, an American surfer who had such a destiny. Later, a movie about her called Soul Surfer was filmed, so if you're interested, you can check it out. If you didn't guess until now, each of us can choose what role to play. In fact, we unconsciously do it daily. Far too often, though, we choose to play a villain or a victim instead of a hero or a guide. In fact, usually all of these 4 characters have the same beginning, a failure, a loss, or a trouble that changes their life completely. But what shapes our life is not the trouble itself, but the way we answer to it. We can choose to be false victims of our own lives, thinking that something or someone will make us happy, but doing nothing to actually achieve our dream. We can be villains and think that if the world offended us, we should answer in the same way. Or we can transform first our lives by being a hero and working hard to achieve our dream, and second, change lives of other people by being a guide. Here's 3 takeaways from the book Hero on a Mission. Let's go! First, how to be the hero of your own story. Hero is vulnerable and story helps him overcome his insecurities. Far too often we think that heroes are brave and fearless, but in fact many heroes in books and films have lots of doubts and insecurities. That's why any person can be a hero, not overemphasizing perfection, but rather focusing on the journey of becoming better versions of ourselves. Another quote from the book is, "Don't think you have to transform before you live a great story. Live a great story and the story itself will transform you." So you don't need to wait to start. Just start before you're ready. Hero needs a special event that pushes him to make the decision. That's why unexpected changes like losing health or losing job push us to make critical decisions. Oftentimes we don't want to start to lead a healthy lifestyle unless we encounter some health problems. And we're too afraid to travel the world, for example, unless we lose our secure job. Both bad and good sudden events force us to make decisions quickly and think critically. Hero knows what they want. They set specific goals and effective system to achieve these goals. Donald Miller goes on to explain that we need to create a vision for our lives, specifically lifetime, 10-year and 5-year goals. These goals should be in several categories like health, career, relationships, family, spiritual, etc. Also crucial to not overcomplicate things and pursue no more than 3 goals at a time. One more important thing is that your vision should probably scare and embarrass you, containing some brave but realistic enough goals. Last but not least, after defining your vision, you need to immediately take action. What we want hardly matters. We don't find meaning in the wanting. We find meaning in the pursuit of the thing we want. For example, if you want to be a millionaire, cool. But do you have a plan? Do you know what and how you're gonna do it? Then go do it. Even small step, trial and error will move you closer, but just wanting will not move you anywhere. After defining the ambition, what hero wants? He encounters problems, limits and challenges. Doing challenging things is what differentiates hero from a victim. Victims believe they cannot do difficult things others can, and so they never even risk to try. Heroes, though, are not afraid of taking risks and trying new challenges. They know that challenging things better their character. There is no other way to transform except to try to do things you didn't know you were capable of doing. Hero never accepts defeat as victims do. When something difficult happens, victims accept defeat while heroes ask, what does it make possible? For example, let's recall 2020 when COVID started. Everyone was in panic because we were focusing on the negative side, but at the end of the day we could also see some positive things like having time to spend with family or try new things and hobbies and jobs online. As they say, in your mind you can make hell out of heaven and heaven out of hell. 2. What elements does a good story include? Good story needs an ambition, a community, a vision that requires risk. We already talked about all of them except for community. Let's now see what community you should have. First of all, if you have no friends, don't worry, because as they say, do not fear having no friends, fear having bad friends. Your community is really important, as you become the average of 5 people you spend most time with. Choose your friends wisely. Friends who help you become the better version of yourself, share similar interests, ambitions, and priorities. Also, surprisingly, you can become an average of 5 people you see on social media, YouTubers for example. So be aware of this too. Story is not always joyful, but it must be meaningful. Meaning doesn't equal joy. Imagine if you want a six-pack, you train every single day. You find this meaningful despite the pain training involves. There is a poem that perfectly describes it. I slept and dreamed life was joy. I woke and saw life was duty. I worked, and behold, duty was joy. And the last thing I want to tell you in the story section is how to avoid existential vacuum. Existential vacuum is like when at the end of the movie in the cinema, you just stare at the blank screen. Our life can be like this sometimes when a great story finished but we didn't embark on a new one yet. The author tells his personal story when he finished bicycle marathon across America. He just didn't want to go home because he just didn't know what to fill his existential vacuum with. Shortly afterwards though, he managed to go on another journey to Washington, and living a new story gave him meaning. You cannot be a guide without being a hero. All guides have been heroes earlier in their life. Now when they have experience and are professionals in something, they can share their knowledge with other heroes. And the point is, you don't need to be proficient in something. My personal goal is to not only be a hero but also a guide. Good example for my kids. I believe if a hero keeps in mind that later in life he can become a guide, his life and pursuit of his dreams becomes much more meaningful. If you want to stop your procrastination once and for all, watch this video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!